Hi guys, Mickey Colon with Truss Professional. I'm here in New York with Modern Salon at the studio. And I got here my model. This is the before picture. And we are going to take that color and enhance it a little more, making it blonder. So we're gonna get started here. So give you a couple of seconds and you guys get to see all the fun stuff that is gonna happen and all the techniques that I'm gonna be using. So stay tuned. We want everything to be natural, like she went to the beach for a whole month and kind of just build this beautiful balayage blonde by itself. So we're gonna just take a little bit out, and if you notice what I'm taking out is actually the previous blonde that she has. So we're just gonna take out the blonde that she had so we don't over process that blonde. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna tease all the way from the bottom. So we have to start all the way from here, bring it all the way down, make sure you have the hair nice and open at the end. And then once you start seeing these little hairs right here, this is where we're gonna start teasing. Our teasing is very, very gentle. As you notice, I am not racing. I am not trying to work out. I'm just making sure that it goes up evenly distributed all the way to the top to make sure that when this hair comes down, it's nice and evenly distributed. So now that we have it all the way up there, as you notice, we don't have any hairs in between. Now I'm gonna grab some liner, and we're using the Air Libre with 10 volume right now because she's already blonde and we're kind of working through it, so I don't want to rush it. Okay, and we're gonna start on the bottom midsection, working our way down, all the way down, all the way down, making sure that that's saturated. And if you notice here at the same time, I am not squishing the hair, I'm not munching it together. I'm really separating it, make sure that all the hair strands have liner on it. And then once we get that nice and saturated, I call it 100% saturation from mid shaft to the ends. And then I'm gonna clean my hands real quick, my right hand, and I'm gonna start working this part of the middle, this line on the middle. I'm gonna start working it upwards so I can start making my blend. What I wanna do again, I wanna create something soft, something very natural. So I don't wanna add more liner to it, more powder to it to the top because I'm saturating too much. My rule of thumb is 25%, 50%, 100% saturation. So you should be able to see a little bit of your color right through here of the hair color. And then you should start seeing less hair color. And then down here, you should just see white powder, just like the liner, okay? Now, if you feel like you need to come back and add a little more, that's completely fine. Just grab a little more, put it on the top, saturate it. And then if you notice, I'm also not even pressuring it. I'm just kind of coating the hair right on top of it and working my way upwards. It's very important that you start cleaning your hands with a nice towel, black or white, whatever you feel, and then start working your hand upwards again because you don't want anything to be in your hands, so you can have that nice clean palm to be able to spread that liner. After you have that and you have that beautiful sequence going on, what you want to do is check the bottom. Okay, a lot of people forget about the bottom. The bottom is as important as the top because the hair flows everywhere, so you can't really just work on the top and think that people are just looking at the hair from the top. The hair is curled, so you're gonna have that movement from the bottom coming up as well. So you really have to work the top and the bottom the same way. We cannot get lazy. We gotta work it from all the way from the top, from the bottom, all the way to the top of the crown, the same way, all right? And then once you have that beautiful saturation and you feel comfortable with yourself and you look at it and you're like, you know what, this looks beautiful. The way you see it is the way it's gonna come out, okay? So if you see spotches or you see unevenness or something like that, or unbalanced lines, that's the way it's gonna come out when you see when you rinse it, okay? So make sure you have a really nice saturation and everything. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a foil and we're gonna place it and put it right on the hair. And as you notice, my foil covered the whole entire hair. Why? I love to do that because I don't like to mess with the hair after it's painted. I don't want the paint to get up here or get in the middle because my saturation is completely different everywhere else. Right after that, instead of me folding it, I'm just gonna grab another foil and place it and just gently do a nice little corner to corner bend without smashing it together. Remember guys, we coated the hair really nicely. We want that liner to lift very beautifully and not be disturbed. Cool? Now we're gonna move on to our most important step for me eventually. I call it the money piece, but I know somebody took it and trademarked it. So now we're gonna change it to the glam piece. So there we go. Oh gosh, now I have to trademark that one. So what we're gonna do is we have a part down the middle here. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna take, if you notice, she has this little hairs, baby hairs right here. So what we're gonna do is we're not, like I said before, we're not gonna touch them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a diagonal back section here. If you notice, there's a diagonal back section right here. We're gonna take a diagonal back section, about 1 inch of a section. Now that 1 inch of a section, let me part this away so you can look, you guys can see really nicely. Put that right there, okay? Now that 1 inch section now is gonna turn into 3 different foils, okay? So we're actually gonna split this in half, like this, right? Split it in half. And now this front one here, we're actually gonna weave this one, and this is gonna become 2. So my first 2 foils are gonna be back-to-back foils, and my third foil, we're actually gonna tease it a little bit and actually leave a little bit interval in between. And if you don't know what interval is, it's the hair in between the hair, okay? The hair you take out. All right, so we're gonna do back-to-back foils. Third one, we're gonna take a little bit of hair out, tease just a little bit on the root, and that's it. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Here we go. Okay, so now we're gonna get started. So we're gonna grab a foil, and I love the roll foils because the roll foils for me, I like to see the length and everything like that for the hair. We're just gonna do like a traditional weave. Now you see these little hairs right here, you might not be able to see them, but just make sure that they're out, okay guys? Now that's gonna help you also to when you bring that hair up, it's gonna help you with that beautiful seamless look that you're gonna attract to. Now we're gonna start about 2 fingers away from the root and really saturate that area. Now we gotta be careful. If she has blonde hair already, stay away from the blonde. Remember, we have to process this first. So stay away from the blonde so we don't over process the blonde. And then once you get to the top and those 2 fingers, that's where you're gonna do your, trying to take out most of the product out. So we're just gonna flicker upwards like this until you get to the root area. You don't wanna go all the way to the root so you don't get any marks or any demarcation. Take out the little hair to the side and just give it a nice little foil. And just like I said before, try not to press the foil down so the liner can lift nicely. We're gonna do the same thing with this one. And if you notice, look how thin those sections are, guys. They're very, very thin, okay? So we wanna make sure that we grab thin sections because we want this hair to pop. So we want this hair to lift as much as it can to be different than everything else behind us, okay? So make sure you grab the thinnest sections, as some people might call them baby lights, teasing lights, whatever you wanna call them. I just call them thin sections, all right? So grab some thin section, make sure you paint them. Once you get to the top, start flickering it upwards, and then pull the hair to the side. Now we're gonna go to the third section. The third section, we're gonna change it up. Remember, the first 2, we did not take any hair out. The third section, we're actually gonna weave just a little bit from the bottom and just take a very, very fine tease out of there. And then we're gonna tease all these little hairs out of the way. And if you notice, I'm teasing very, very softly. I'm gonna have my beautiful wife here hold that hair together. And then we're gonna bring it in. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of liner on the foil. That way, when I place it, watch this guys. When I place this there, I can let go of the foil. She can give me the comb back. I can put it away and we can work into putting the liner into the hair. And again, nicely soft towards the top, middle, down, saturation really well. Make sure you don't grab the bottom. Saturation, saturation. Once you get to the top, flick, 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 flicker until you get that beautiful seamless. Remember, what did we say before? 25, 50, 100%, and then just feel nice and welcome to give it a nice little fold. Now, remember before, we were using 2 foils, but at this time, I'm not gonna use 2 foils because we're actually kind of saturating all the way from the top to the bottom. All right, so now that we did the money piece, now guys, this is up to you. So you can make the money piece a little bit thicker, a little bit thin. What I recommend is always ask your customer, your client. I call them customer because our clients. Because if they had never had a money piece, and you just give them a nice bowl, like a money piece or glamour piece, they might be afraid of it. So introduce them to it first before you go about it and just like start putting a glamour piece to it. So introduce them to it. So 3 foils is gonna give her a very fine glamour piece, but I want Mariana, my model here, to actually have a beautiful money piece. So what we're gonna do is we did 3 foils, but now I'm actually gonna do 2 foils back to back right on this little triangle that we have left. If you notice, there's a triangle here. And this point right here, we're gonna take this section and we're gonna split it just like we did with the glamour piece in the front. We're gonna give like about 1 inch of a section. Right, there it is. So this is 1 inch of a section. Now this we can just like put back here. And what we're gonna do is this 1 inch of a section, we're actually gonna split into 2, just like we did with the front. The only thing that's gonna change is, if you see me, I'm actually gonna weave or zigzag through that section and make it look like a zigzag in 2 separate sections. Now, what we're gonna do after that is, we're gonna clip this so you don't lose the hair from the other hair, and we're actually gonna tease it just a little bit, right? Because we're trying to not meet like right on the hairline. We're trying to make a soft entry into it. So we're gonna tease it just a little bit, and then we're just going to paint it. So we're gonna grab a foil and put a little bit of liner on the edge here. And we're gonna grab the foil. And if you notice, look, guys, my liner, I'm actually leaving about a finger away from the edge. I'm not putting my liner right on the edge of the foil, okay? So, wanna make sure that we start painting from the middle down, just like we do in the previous sections. Painting middle down, and then when you get up here, start flickering upwards, okay? And remember, stay away about a finger away from the hairline and the tease, and then that's where you're gonna get. Make sure you saturate really well. Keeping in mind still the 25, 50, 100 to make sure that you don't get your blonde in there. Give it a nice little bend on the edges. Now the next one, we're gonna do the same thing, guys. We're just gonna do back to back. What I said before, back to back. We're gonna tease it gently. Just take out some of that hair out of the way, but keeping most of it. And if you notice, I'm not leaving any interval in between, just straight up here. And we're gonna grab this hair and paint it again, just like we did in the previous foil that we did. Now that's gonna give you a really nice pop on the money piece, but also keep it, because remember, this foil is vertical. So when this falls, it's gonna fall in a vertical line, not on a horizontal line, okay? So we're gonna keep it here, and it's gonna give you a really nice, beautiful pop of money piece, and you guys get to see it afterwards when we shoot it, and it comes out. So stay tuned, all right? Thank you. All right, guys, so we tabbed the root with 6N and 8N. We're letting it sit there about 5 to 10 minutes, and now we're doing Air Libre by Truss Professional in 20 volume, okay, on wet hair. And we're just tapping the hair, just to kind of get on the blonde. You don't really have to saturate again on the color, just on the blonde pieces, all right? And then we're just gonna let it sit for another 10 minutes, and we'll be ready to go.
That's really weird, right? Actually, I thought this would be overall. So it's not taking off all that. It's one thing long.
Do reflector, Randy. Do the reflector, Randy. Do the reflector, Randy.
Yeah,
No, keep taller. The way you wear was perfect, so I'm gonna just have to get in the frame. That's great. Oh, I love it. Gorge. 1, 2. 1, 2. I think we already have this look, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, Maggie?
It's great.
So we have something there. Should we judge what we have and see what